Boom. All right, guys. We're back at you with another Dark Side of the Ring episode review.
Oh yeah, and we about to get extreme.
Yes, ECW Extreme.
Yeah.
This time around, we're going to be doing a review on the Sandman, which is from Season 5, Episode 9, and this one is called Enter Sandman Legacy of a Hardcore Icon.
Oh yeah, and this was one I'd been waiting on because, back in the day, I was a huge Sandman fan. Like, I just thought, like, he was different than anybody else out there because, he had, to me, the coolest fucking entrance. Like,
right. Well, he started off as, like, a surfer guy.
Yeah.
Right? Until Paul Heyman told him, we're breaking that fucking thing over your head.
Yeah, and then he's like, one night I was like, hey, Paul, I forgot my wrestling boots. I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
He's like, I don't care what you wear out there.
Right. This is ECW is pretty different from WWE and WCW.
Yeah,
these guys were far more hardcore, extreme motherfuckers, And
I tell you what, according to what they were saying in this deal, that they were like more lenient towards the booze and the drugs,
right? Which they were heavy into.
And basically, you go out there and even wrestle fucked up,
right? Which he did.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much, I would say all of them probably did. Obviously.
Well, Sandman did because there were several people was talking about, like, on his way to the ring, he would drink like 6 beers.
Right.
On his way to the ring. Plus, he probably had been drinking before that and doing drugs before that.
Of course.
By the time he got to the ring, where most people would be like, oh man, I'm not going out there wrestling this guy. This guy's drunk as fuck. Like,
right.
He's not going to be able to do what he can do.
Right. I remember at one point in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, Raven was doing drugs in the bathroom, or he was shooting up.
Yeah.
And then,
the 80s.
Yeah, and then
whatever it was, and they said that he almost he overdosed from it.
Sandman took it. He said that was the first time and the last time he's done that.
Yeah.
I believe. And and they took him to the hospital. He fucking he almost died.
Yeah, he even stated I should I shouldn't be dead. But because he was just not from doing that shit, but his wrestling style and his crazy ECW stuff. He stated hey, I got a bad back. I need shoulder surgery.
He said he broke almost 30 bones, something like that, over all the years. Obviously, you're gonna be in probably more pain than the other wrestling companies because these guys are more hardcore.
A guy who's just taking bumps in the ring.
Right.
You gotta figure a lot of the bumps these guys took at ECW were through tables and ladders. And,
right. All kinds of crazy shit.
High dives onto the fucking audience and people jumping from the scaffolding and shit.
They're crazy. And at some point, he met his wife there, and he had a few kids, and he had his son be part of the, ECW, the Raven thing,
One thing they did leave out, they left out of ECW, or not ECW, but the Sandman story, was how he, when he was a surfer guy gimmick, and then when he became more of the Sandman deal, I actually remember when he turned heel, he got something thrown in his face during a match, and while he was blinded, he inadvertently struck his wife Peaches and basically leveled her to the mat, and by the time he got his bearings about him, he never went to check on his wife, and he went to the back, and then the next week he came out for a match, and he had a totally. That's when he came out with the the sweatpants and the shoes and stuff, and
Right.
even the commentators like, this is not the Sandman I'm used to. Like, he's like, I didn't hear no surfer music, and I don't see no bodysuit, and like he came out and literally like destroyed a wrestler within like 9 seconds. Just basically nailed the guy, he grabbed him, DDT'd him, 1, 2, 3.
Damn. And it's,
And after the match, he kept picking him up and DDT'ing him again and again, and until his buddy Tommy Cairo came out and was trying to stop him. Thought that he was because he was starting to like at first Peaches came out to try to stop him from beating this guy up, and he was like grabbing her arm and being like mean to her, and then Tommy Cairo came out, like he's trying to talk some sense into him, and just when you thought he did, like Sandman like sucker shotted him and planted him with the DDT, and just walked away.
man.
And that was the whole start of like the Sandman that we all got to know.
Right, because it says here in the Wikipedia, he was born in 1963. He started off, I guess, in Tri-State Wrestling in 1989 to like 92. And then in 92, I guess he went into ECW, as the Surfer and Pimp until he got that board broken over his fucking head.
Yeah, he's like, I'm breaking that board over your fucking head.
Yeah. And, they changed that out. Well, what'd you think of his son and the whole feud between him and Raven?
Back in the day, I didn't watch a lot of ECW. I watched it when they first were starting, when they had a channel, so I seen how the Sandman turned heel, but I never did really watch the stuff when they brought his son in. But I do know about them bringing his son in and all that, but
and his wife.
Yeah, I can't believe they had. In that extreme environment, them bringing in a 6-year-old kid,
right,
and then having him like basically dress like Raven and turn on his dad and
run all that shit for a while.
How Sandman was giving him orders like backstage, like, you don't smile. No matter what you do out there, no matter what happens, you don't smile. Like, I want you to give that look. And then he was showing a picture of like from an ECW shot when he was standing there with Raven and Peaches, giving that like that serious like look, and you're like, he's like, that's the look right there. That's the look.
So I guess that went on for a little while until the mom got kind of tired of it. She didn't like it.
Who would want? It's not just a normal wrestling environment like WWF and WCW. This is some crazy shit with a fan base of their own, man. Like,
it's
and plus, plus ECW pushed at it, as they call, pushed that envelope more and more, like, taking things like Raven even said in one of the part of that, like, there was a segment like where he's sitting there with Tyler, Sandman's son, and he said he was drunk and stuff, and he couldn't remember his line, and Tyler told him even though that Raven forgot his line, Tyler knew his line.
Yeah.
It just they said he played it, seeing him do the whole quote the Raven, nevermore.
Right. I wonder if he got paid good for all of that. I would assume so.
It was weird though when they showed him on this show. Now that he's seeing him as a damn grown ass man.
Oh yeah, because this was over 20 years ago.
That's gotta be weird, man. To be a grown man now, and then you can go back and play a video and see yourself at like an ECW show
Right.
when you were 6 years old doing the quote the Raven, nevermore.
Right. And I remember at one point, if he went to jail, I can't remember for what, but he got in a fight with a guard, and the guy ducked down and he hit a cop
Oh yeah,
in the face
yeah.
or something. He had to go in the hole for like 6 months for that or something like that.
Yeah, and he said when he got out of that, like this ain't for me, like.
Right.
But he was an awesome like when he started coming out, and the damn like the way he started coming out through the crowd with the Metallica music
Oh
playing.
yeah, which was pretty cool. And he would like be walking around in the crowd,
Yeah,
and
and
the people would start to notice him, and then they would get bigger.
Yeah, and I loved it how like he would sit there and wait, like looking at the crowd, smoking a cigarette, and right when the big part of that fucking Inner Sandman would come on, he just fucking like he'd do this thing where he raised the beer over his arm and he'd popping it open and flinging it, and he'd just start fucking chugging it and then just bashing it off his own head, and he's
Right.
like, I'm gonna do something that's nobody else does. It's like I'm gonna bleed before the match even starts.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and I'm just like, damn, dude, you're gonna fucking bust yourself open before you start a wrestling match.
Yeah, and drink that much beer.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to be pretty fucking hardcore.
I remember watching one of his entrances one time, and he started off. He came out. He had a beer in his hand, and he popped that beer open, started slamming it, fucking finished it, smacked it off his head, threw it, started going down through the crowd. As he got to near the ring, you see him reach into his pocket of his sweatpants and pull out another beer, pop it, start, and get up on the crowd barrier there, and he'd start like fucking slamming it. Sometimes he would he'd pull out another beer. Sometimes he would, instead of chugging it himself, he'd be like, if I seen somebody standing near me with a Sandman shirt, you're getting a beer poured down your throat.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember him asking the fan. He asked him, "How old are you?" And the guy was like, "I'm 23." And then he started pouring beer in his mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck?"
How old are you? 23.
Yeah.
Open up.
Yeah. And at some point, he was going into WCW, but he got jacked.
Yeah, because I remember that he came in to WCW. They totally changed his name. Instead of calling him Sandman, he came in as Hardcore Hack.
Right, and he got built up, but I guess it was driving him a bit pissed off. He got in a lot of fights with his ex-wife.
Yeah, that good old roid rage, dude. He was saying he was taking so much, as they call it, gas back then. And you even seen it, when they showed him coming out in WCW, he did look like he fucking was jacked.
Yeah, he packed down some weight, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
And that didn't help the marriage none, because him and his wife got in a lot of arguments. And, he ended up physically, assaulting her and shit. And that's, which is not cool, dude, but...
And plus not only that, but his WCW run... It was cool to see him in WCW.
Yeah, he said he had a WCW run from 98 to 99. But then he returned to ECW in 99 until 2001, it says. Yeah,
but I remember some of his matches in WCW. They paired him up with this girl named Chastity that basically was storyline sister to Raven.
Right.
And I remember, dude, it was funny because WCW exploited that Raven was actually, when, you see him come out in ECW and WCW as, a whole grunge look, you think he's just coming out of a ditch somewhere, doesn't have nothing, always complaining he's in misery and this and that. And WCW, did this angle where they exposed Raven for actually being like a rich kid.
Yeah.
Like they show him go to this real fancy house, and they open the door and you see Raven with like a polo shirt on and like shorts and stuff, and like his hair all done up, and everybody's like, Raven? He's like, hey, I'm not Raven. In this house, I'm Scotty. And you got introduced to his sister Chastity, and then you even got to see what I thought was so funny. They started doing angles with Sandman, like, and you'd see like Sandman come in and be like a normal guy, like normal clothes, like wearing glasses, and like, you know, I guess like him and Raven, like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, hey man, I'm being fake like you.
Wow. Yeah, then at some point in ECW, there was that whole cross incident.
Oh yeah, the crucifixion.
Right. I remember back then when that first aired and whatnot, I was fucking shocked. And I was thinking, damn, people are not gonna probably like that. And I remember, I think Raven had to come out and apologize.
Yeah,
for that shit.
Remember, that's what made Sandman leave and go to WCW there for a while.
Right. Ain't that something though?
He's like, fuck that. You're not gonna feel bad. You know, I'm not gonna go out there. Raven's gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm out of here. You know.
Yeah. And then I feel like, if that was done today, I don't think people would see it as a big deal.
No. The only reason it was really made a big deal, because
nobody was doing it. It was a shocking type moment.
Well, yeah, and not just that, but EC, they kind of fucked a deal up where they were trying to get Kurt Angle to be, a part of ECW.
Yeah, he was there that night.
Yeah, and he didn't like what he saw, and he's like,
because he was a Christian or whatever.
Yeah,
and he was pissed, and he told him, don't air any of the footage with me in that, or you'll be hearing from my lawyer.
And Paul Heyman trying to say that, which I believe, like, hey, I didn't know a video of that was going on. They're like, bullshit, you're the fucking boss, you know?
Right. Isn't that something though?
I tell you another thing that what kind of got me with his Dark Side of the Ring. They didn't mention the incident with Mick Foley in ECW.
Right.
They had a match in ECW, and they said normally, like, they would allow fans to bring weapons to the arena to hand the wrestlers. And at one point, he said they were like, he was beating them up, and somebody was yelling like, "Hey Mick, or Cactus," and he's like, "Hey Cactus, here, take this." And he said he didn't look back to see what it was. He just reached back, grabbed it, and mid swing of going right towards Sandman's head, did he realize the item that he had given him was a cast iron skillet.
Damn.
And he didn't realize, like, he didn't realize it till he was coming at Sandman with it, and he said he clonked him right in the fucking head, dude. And he said you go back and you watch that match after that point, and you can see that Sandman was not himself the rest of that match. Like,
oh, I bet he wasn't. I'm gonna have to check that match out.
And if I'm, the only thing is, I'm thinking that was the incident that they were talking about where they had to bring Peaches in because he's like, hey, he's got a concussion and he doesn't remember anything.
Right. She thought it was a rib at first, like they were ribbing her.
And they were like, no, this is serious. He does not know anything.
Yeah, so she had to go see him, and he kept...
Yeah, but they never said... I mean, I believe that was the incident that they were talking about, though.
Yeah. And also at some point, Paul Heyman had him use a cane.
Yeah, he was talking because of the incident in Singapore all years ago where a kid got convicted for spray painting a car, and his punishment was 10 lashes with a fucking cane.
Ain't that something?
And I remember it was funny as Paul Heyman said he went out there, tore a branch off a tree, tore the thing. He's like, I'll wrap this up. This is going to be your Singapore cane. And they had like the Singapore caning match between him and Tommy Dreamer that actually made the career of Tommy Dreamer with this incident.
Yeah, I do remember that incident. He whooped his ass with that fucking cane, man. He was bleeding and everything. I'm thinking, dude, how's this guy standing?
Yeah, I remember when he's like, "Thank you, sir, man."
Yeah, right. I'm thinking, dude, you're crazy.
Yeah, but you
know motherfuckers.
What? But you know what? Even though it probably hurt like fuck, and he probably regretted it, but you can figure him doing that, you know, totally turned around his career because he was trying to be, you know, the clean, you know, pretty boy, you know, baby face, and you know, in ECW, the fans just did not give a shit for that kind of wrestler in ECW. And so, you know, with him showing that he could take a fucking beating like that, it's like that won over the crowd's respect. Be like,
oh yeah,
dude, this. He's like, okay, this guy's fucking tough. Hell yeah, it's all right.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a thing. The witness, his ass get whooped like that.
Yeah.
For the cane.
I'll tell you another thing I didn't get to that got me. They didn't bring up the. I mean, they showed it. They showed a glimpse of when, you know, Sandman with his eyes all bandaged up. It's funny that they didn't really talk about that incident in ECW where him and there was an incident. I think it was him and Tommy, where there was an incident with a cigarette, where a cigarette like went in his face and made it seem like you know, he got blinded. And and I forgot where I heard this, but it was years ago, and they were saying that Sandman basically, like, he did not like spoil it. Like when he, you know, like when he was hurt, he really made people believe that he was truly blind. Like he said, for like 2-3 weeks they had him like sit at home with the windows like closed up so nobody could see him. So, and then when he came out, he'd be like, you know, act like he'd be like being helped around, like blind, like, you know.
I remember that, but they didn't really put that into the dark side of the ring.
And then just when you think that Sandman was going to retire, he played fucking Tommy Dreamer to set him up right where he wanted him, and then just out of nowhere, he whacked him with the cane, tore the bandage up. So it's like, yeah, bitch, I got your ass.
Right. And you also remember where, I guess he was at a party one night, he was drunk, and he got in some sort of fight because he got hit in the head with a bottle, and he ended up going to jail, and then his kids had to go out and bail him out for $10,000. You know, she had to go to a couple of ATMs, I believe.
Yeah, they said at this point they were like teenagers.
Yeah, they were.
And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. They're running to like ATM after ATM, getting like $2,000 out at a time, and they're like, y'all need to be really careful. You know, somebody's gonna jack you for that kind of money at that time of night. You know,
which is pretty careful. They were pretty pissed when they picked him up, got him out of there.
Yeah, dude, it's like how much more could you take? Like, you know, you're seeing this guy, like your father, just out of control, you know, drunk all the time.
Right.
You know, doing crazy wrestling gimmicks, having these crazy ass matches.
Plus with all the drugs and shit.
Oh, dude.
Painkillers, you name it. You know, hell of a lifestyle, man. I'm telling you, it's pretty, you know, hardcore.
Remember when he wanted to go into WWE?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was cool as hell, but WWE, to me, totally misused him. Like, they made him just like a joke. Like,
yeah, they showed a little bit of that in the Dark Side of the Ring episode.
Dude, when they launched their, like, WWE's watered down ECW, they had Sandman just come in, and I remember the stupidest wrestler they ever came out with was a guy called the Zombie. And the guy literally walked to the ring looking like a zombie.
Crazy.
And fucking Sandman comes out, gets in the ring, just beats the fuck out of him with a cane, leaves him laying, drinks a beer, and then that's it for Sandman.
Wow.
And then, like, the next week they brought the, I don't know if you ever remember this guy, but WWE, I thought it was so fun. They had, like, what do they wind up calling him? I mean, no, he went under through a couple different names, but I think it was that Big Dick Johnson guy.
Yeah.
Remember the guy used to come in, tear his clothes off, just be in underwear, like covering himself, and be like, "Come on, let's party!" And he was out there, and Sandman came out, beat the shit out of him with a cane, and drank another beer, and he's like, "Yep, I'm out of here."
Yeah, and it shows here he wasn't really in a whole lot of video games either.
No.
Let's see.
You know what really pissed me off with knowing that WWE was wasting his talent away?
Yeah.
Was in the 2007 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
They had, like, Sandman came out, every crowd was going nuts, and, you know, came out through the crowd, popping a beer, drinking it, like, got in the ring, and started, like, fucking caning motherfuckers, like Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Super Crazy, and then he goes to, like, cane Booker T. Booker T ducks, like, knees him in the gut, hits him. The next thing you know, he grabs Sandman and throws him out of the fucking Royal Rumble.
Damn.
I'm like, are you fucking serious? A fucking legend like the Sandman just, wow, he was in there for like 30 whole fucking seconds.
In and out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But what it shows here is, as far as video games go, it says he was in ECW Anarchy Rules, Backyard Wrestling 2, there goes the neighborhood, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and he's WWE 2K24 as a downloadable content. And as of right now, that's it. I'm like, wow. So he's only in, what, 1, 2, 3 games, well, 4 as a, DLC. That's crazy. He should have been in more games, in my opinion.
Yes, I mean, dude, but Sandman, I know Sandman wasn't the best technical wrestler out there.
Well, yeah.
But dude, when he did wrestle, some of his matches were, like, actually enjoyable to watch. Like, you know, another thing that they didn't talk about, and when he was in WCW, when he was working as Hack, he came out to, I remember he had a match on Nitro with a wrestler by the name of Prince Iakea, and Eric Bischoff was doing commentary, and when the Sandman, like, he came out as Hag, like, they're talking, you see him come out, and he's clearly, like, smoking a cigarette, and as soon as, like they're like, hold up, what is this? Smoking a cigarette?
Yeah.
And they made such a big deal, like, there's no smoking in these arenas, and, like, he got in the ring and he just kept smoking his cigarette, and, like, people like J.J. Dillon and the referee came in there, were trying to get him to fucking, put the cigarette out, and, like, at one point he, like, did throw his cigarette out, but he went right into his pocket and pulled out another one and started lighting it up.
Well, that's a Sandman for you. I mean,
yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck, man. He just does whatever.
But
yeah, good episode. This one was pretty good. I just felt like there could have been so much more they got into, but it's hard to cram all that stuff into 45 minutes.
Yeah. I felt like, though, they covered his story pretty well. I mean, it was cool. They had, like, like Sabu and Rob Van Dam, you know,
Yeah, they were
Tom
talking.
Sherry, Bill Alfonso,
Plus his son and daughter, and
yeah,
his ex-wife. They were all in there
yeah,
talking.
yeah. You know, all the people, and even Raven, who, you know, I mean, yeah, that was. I would have liked to have seen them, you know, talk to, you know, with Mick Foley about it, because I know that story about him cracking them with the damn.
Right. I mean, who knows? Maybe they did talk to Mick Foley and you know all that, but it might have got cut out. You know,
Yeah,
because you can only put so much, like I said, in 45 minutes. You know, so.
yeah, they could have talked a lot more about him, because
Oh yeah,
like
there's so much more about him
they
that
didn't even
they.
talk about the fact that, you know, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was between WCW and WWF, like that's where Stone Cold started finding like his, you know, his bad side, you know, in ECW, and like he did have a, you know, a feud with Sandman. Remember Sandman coming out to a match one time, and as he's talking shit to the camera, all of a sudden you just see like Steve Austin come out and just fucking level him from behind, like, what, bitch?
Yeah, good stuff. But unless if you got anything else to say, I think we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Good.
I think we need to go and crack a beer and smoke a cigarette
Yeah.
in tribute to the Sandman.
Yeah, which is pretty good. There was a lot of cool matches back in the day with him. You know, the hardcore stuff, man.
Like a lot of cool skits. I mean,
That too,
he was
yeah.
doing awesome entrance. Like in that he just, you know, he wouldn't even come out with in wrestling attire. He'd just come out like he was saying, like, I'm just gonna wear out there what I've been wearing all day. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, just go as what you want, and that's it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. We hope you enjoyed this review on the Sandman.
Yes, sir.
And we're out of here. Have a kick-ass night.